Hi everyone! Today's braided hairstyle was inspired by Game of Thrones' Daenerys Targaryen and her triple braids from Season 6. I started by giving my hair some curl and making a somewhat centered part. Normally the actress's wig is given a side parting, but because I'm working with my own natural hair, I wanted to make sure that I had enough on each side of my head. Beginning on my left, I made half of a headband parting, and this was solely to guide me as I made a vertical section at the top of my head. The extra step helps to ensure that all the lines are as sharp as I can possibly get them. Once this was in place, I clipped back the loose hair and began a Dutch lace braid. To save time, I'm not going to give the most in-depth explanation, rather I'll link my braid dictionary video in the description as I always do. But briefly, a Dutch braid is done by folding the strands under one another as opposed to over, and a lace braid is like a French braid with the exception of hair being added into it on one side only. I'm pulling hair from along the parting into the bottommost strand, while occasionally stopping to tug and widen the loops a bit. And instead of tying it off with an elastic, I'm using a clip to hold it in place as I work on the other side. And it is the same thing on the right, a rectangular shaped section that extends from forehead to crown and a Dutch lace braid. Dany is one of my favorite characters both on the show and in the novels, and of all the ladies in the series I especially appreciate her hair design. The stylists have created a great look in that it's so easy to replicate and it translates terrifically onto real-life women with real-life hair. I've copied several of these hairstyles on YouTube, and I'll make sure to add links in the underbar in case you'd like to see. This next part involves a combination braid. This means we have to take the 6 strands from both braids and condense them into 3 new ones. So I'm combining 2 on the outside of the right braid, 2 on the outside of the left, and then the single 2 in the center. Again, you can reference my braidtionary video if you'd like a closer look at how to do this. Going back to the left side, I've drawn another line from the top of the braids to the top of my ear. I don't generally like having hair in my face, so I'm only going to leave a single tendril loose over my ears. This next step is just a simple Dutch braid, and since it's a small section of hair, I was only able to add strands in for a few stitches before it converted into a regular 3-strand. When I felt like it reached the center of the back of my head, I clipped it off as before. Moving backwards, I gathered hair from behind that second braid and began another separate one. Again, this is a Dutch braid pattern, and as per the one in front of it, I only added in a few small strands before allowing it to fall back into a regular braid. Obviously, you'll need to repeat the steps on the right just like before. You can see that my braids are much smaller, which is pretty normal all things considered. I suppose that if you were looking for them to appear fuller, like the ones on Emilia Clarke's wig, you could add in some extensions or maybe use a micro crimper to pump up your hair's volume. Truthfully, I didn't mind that mine were thinner, and that's because I find that these Dany styles are flattering on most everyone, no matter the variations or differences in comparison to the actress's wig. Starting with the 2 braids closest to my face, I brought them back and folded the 6 strands into 3 and began another combination braid. These 2 will form the second tier in the hairstyle. When it came to the third tier, I simply tied those braids together with an elastic. I also decided to go back and reinforce some of the curls I felt had unraveled a little bit. Summer has officially come to New York City, and this always makes my hair fall more than I'd like. Moving right along, I pulled out a pair of scissors, some double-sided tape, and blue ribbon. I noticed that the actress had an interesting tie around the braids from the third tier, so to emulate this, I cut a piece of ribbon, stuck some tape onto it, and wrapped it carefully around my hair elastic. And there you have it. Not super hard to do and really fun to wear. I hope you guys liked it, and until next time, have fun and keep braiding. Bye!